What's crackling, everybody? Welcome back once again to the definitive cereal tier list. For each episode, we take a cereal, put it on the tier list, so you know how good it is. I'm your host, Tucker, and this episode, we're going to be doing Apple Jacks Caramel, our first family-sized and first special edition cereal of 2021. Now, of course, we've done normal Apple Jacks, and for Halloween, we did Apple Jacks with marshmallows. Both of those ended up out of B, pretty solid cereals. But this one, kind of a big change for Apple Jacks, because you will notice Apple Guy's here, no Cinnamon Guy. So, going kind of crazy with this one. On the back, the apple is hanging out with a little caramel square, but I guess they were not important enough to put on the box. So, we'll see if that means anything. Almost certainly it doesn't. But, you know, maybe caramel's not a huge thing, and there's kind of like the idea of caramel. I don't know. We'll find out together, though. But let's just open it up, see what they're doing in here. Okay. Messed up the box. Oh, whoa. Definitely a strong scent. I don't know if... I guess it's sort of caramel. My first whiff of it, I thought more like maple than caramel. But that's not right. Color-wise, no green. Just orangish and red now. Just the apple and caramel. Still can't, like I guess that is sort of, we did a caramel honey bunches of oats a long time ago, and I guess this scent's sort of similar, but still feels off. When I think apple and caramel, this is not the scent that I would picture. Okay, let's see how it tastes. Okay. Not getting a lot of caramel in there. And the apple flavor is kind of weird. It feels more like a sour apple than normal Apple Jacks, which seems like a weird twist to do with something with cinnamon. So I'm not sure what's going on either at the piece or with my interpretation of this flavor. So I really am not getting much of a caramel flavor at all. So I looked here at the ingredients. Only mention I can see there is caramel color. So unless color has a flavor, which I guess is possible, not much happening there. I also noticed it's dried apples and apple juice concentrate, so it kind of split the apple into two parts, still put in both parts. So that's kind of funny, but yeah, this is not as good as Apple Jacks or Apple Jacks with marshmallow, but that's pretty much the same thing. Not as good as either of those. Setting aside the taste difference, texture, crunch-wise, pretty much exactly like an Apple Jack. Not much of a change there. Let's talk about it a bit, but especially early on, got a pretty solid crunch going. So not a huge difference or major complaint there. I've tried eating just some of the orange pieces, and it like almost gives me the idea of caramel flavor, but not quite. So really dropping the ball there. So I guess that means these red pieces are the most powerful taste-wise. Also a chance, this is one of those cereals, colors all taste the same, and I'm just imagining it, but in case I'm not just imagining it, I thought I would share. Time to see if we get any sort of caramel taste in this milk. or if it's going to be just apple. It is sweeter than the piece, but it's still mostly just the apple flavor. Which I think this toned down version works a little better than in the pieces, but it's still not great. Yeah, it was kind of alright. I don't know, nothing too outstanding about most of this cereal. I think the main takeaway here is that I definitely miss the cinnamon. So, wasn't a huge fan of this one. I think part of the issue was I couldn't tell if the apple flavor was changed for this or if it just really needs the balance of the cinnamon flavor to like work as well as it does. So that was kind of distracting me the whole time. But then that also kind of was making me think a lot about normal Apple Jacks. It's like, I kind of would prefer that right now over this. So, not a positive thing for this cereal. So, what I'm going to do is give Apple Jacks Caramel a D. It's definitely weaker than both Apple Jacks and Apple Jacks with marshmallows. So that's sort of a knock automatically when you have to compare against a pretty solid cereal. But apart from that, I think the taste just doesn't work very well. The apple kind of throws me off, and you're not really getting any sort of caramel in there. So just kind of a disappointment all around for me. I considered giving it a C, but the more I thought about it, I was like, no, I think the C's overall are more solid than this. So kind of ended up at a D. Awkwardly, I did kind of predict this disappointment. My roommate, big fan of Apple Jacks, he saw I had these out. I was like, oh, cool, like, I'll have to try that when you're done. I was like, okay, like, sure thing. But then he had that thought of, will this be as good as I want it to be? And I told him, no, things like this usually aren't. So, unfortunately, I was correct. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and in the comments below, post your general thoughts. Let me know if you've had Apple Jacks caramel before. I've been sitting on this one for a bit, so decent chance that if you're interested in something like this, you've had the opportunity to pick it up and try it. Honestly, I wasn't a huge fan, kind of disappointed. If it worked more for you, does the major apple flavor and sort of almost caramel flavor they had in there, let me know about that. If you also felt the apple flavor was different than in Apple Jacks, let me know. That would be cool to get some verification, confirmation, either way. And I'd like to apologize for the beginning of this video. I said they were at a carnival in the back, but they were actually at a carnival. So, whoops. But until next time, stay delicious.